The fifth seal is opened. With Liminal's release on the horizon and Darkchild's power growing, Magik is out of time to save the world, and Cal and Dani Moonstar turn the tide. Or did Magik know exactly how things would end when she surrounded herself with demon slayers? This is Magik issue number 5 from Marvel Comics. This issue is interesting. It feels like the end of the run, but it's not. I think it's just the end of the arc, the end of Liminal. Spoiler alert. We have our characters there in Ireland. How they exactly know where they need to go to stop Liminal, I'm not sure. I think it's with the book. It doesn't seem like the series has really done a good job of giving you this information, or maybe it has and I've just forgotten because I've read so many other stuff in between these issues. But maybe it's the book as where the seals are, and so the sacrifices have to be made on those seals so they know exactly where they need to go. That's the only explanation I can. So yeah, they're at Ireland, and of course there are going to be mutants there because coincidences. That's a big thing in this series. A lot of coincidences. And as soon as Oyana is there with her group, they get attacked, or I should say, the mutants there get attacked by Liminal's hench people, like the people that are grabbing up mutants and sacrificing them to break the seals. So yeah, we have 2 of them, and they capture the mutants, or at least they capture one of them, and Magik uses a teleporter to send Dani through, and then she jumps through a portal herself, and they end up somewhere else where they're going to try to break the seal. And this whole thing just doesn't really make much sense. So if the seal didn't need to be broken there, how did they know to go to Ireland? How would Magik know where to teleport Dani and herself? I guess they can use the book. I don't know, there's a lot of confusing things here. Maybe I'm just stupid. But one of the things that we have is throughout this entire issue, Magik has issues with Dani and Cal. Like, she's kind of being standoffish and very short-tempered with them. And the reason for that is because in the last issue, Dani basically told Cal that I need you to spy on Magik for me. I need you to keep an eye on her and make sure that she doesn't let Darkchild go loose, and if she does, let me know so I can stop it. And Magik is obviously upset with this because, I mean, these are, well, I mean, at least Dani is her friend. I don't know if she considers Cal her friend, but these are 2 people that are basically going to be spying on her to make sure that she doesn't turn a Darkchild because they don't trust her. At least that's the way Magik sees it. And the thing is that why did that conversation ever even happen? Because I was under the impression that Dani told Cal, hey, I need you to spy on Magik and let me know if anything happens, because Dani was going to leave. That Dani's appearance in the last issue was just a one-time thing, but it's not. Like, she's actually along with the journey. And so if all 3 of them are going to be going together and going to be around each other, why did Dani need to tell Cal, I need you to spy on Magik, when Dani could have done it herself? She's going to be there. She's not leaving the area. She's with Magik and Cal until the end of Liminal. So there was no point in her ever saying, hey, I need you to spy on my best friend, when she could have done the spying herself. It feels like that whole scene was just done so that we can have Magik be upset with them and Magik doubting herself even more, which we don't really need because she already doubts herself enough. So it feels like we're just adding unnecessary drama for the sake of unnecessary drama. We get a pretty weak, terrible fight scene. I think it's just kind of laughable. Dani basically shoots her arrows and Magik powers them up to turn them into like fire dragons that blast the 2 hench people. And then the hench people just immediately get up and they're like, oh, our sacrifice is behind this wall. Well, let's just use them. And so they start trying to sacrifice the moon. So it was very dumb. Like, it's a really weak fight scene. Liminal shows up anyways. I guess he doesn't need the seal broken to show up, because he just shows up and he ends up grabbing his 2 hench people and the Mune, and he kills all 3 of them. Because I guess these hench people like kidnapped him when he was a kid, so now he's getting revenge by sacrificing them. This whole thing doesn't really make sense. It's all kind of just dumb. Very much like, oh, it's a coincidence. If Liminal could have sacrificed people to break the seal, why did he have hench people in the first place? And you might say, oh, well, maybe he had them to weaken the seals, and that's the only reason he can appear now, is because other seals were broken in previous issues, and now it's weakened enough that he can enter our world without needing the final seal broken, to do that. Well, then why, once the 4 seals were broken, or however many, and he only needed the final one, why didn't he just go find someone to kill the mutants himself and break it? It's just, I don't know. This whole thing is just kind of weird. Seal is broken. He starts gathering a bunch of power, and because of that, there's like this magical whiplash that hits Magik, and she turns into Darkchild, and Liminal summons a bunch of demons, and Darkchild starts attacking the demons, and we get a point where Dani and Magik get separated by this barrier. Cal is able to show up somehow. I don't know how. Maybe they're still in Ireland. He just ran over to this new area. We get this moment that could be very, very cool, but I feel like it hasn't earned it. And that's where we have, it looks like Limbo. It's supposed to be Magik's mind. Like they're speaking in their mind. Think, for anyone who reads manga or watches anime, think Naruto when Naruto talks to Kurama. It's kind of like that, where they're inside Magik's headspace, and Magik confronts her inner demon, aka Darkchild. And Magik just unleashes all her anger on Darkchild, but Darkchild doesn't fight back, and basically says, you are me and I am you. Why would I direct my anger at myself? And Magik just says, I didn't ask for you. You leech off me and corrupt everything good in my life. Darkchild says, is that really how you see me after all these years? Yes, it's true. I was born in Limbo. You are not. For what purpose, Ilyana, was I created? To be a tool for others? No, I am a tool to protect you. Basically saying that, like, I'm here to help shoulder your burdens. I'm here to help just carry your darker memories so that it doesn't have to drag you down. And then Ilyana basically accepts Darkchild as a part of herself and kisses her head and says that we are one. And I'm like, this could have been cool, except like I said before, it feels like it didn't earn this moment. It feels too rushed. I think this should have been extrapolated a bit more. This issue very much feels like when a manga series gets the axe and we got to wrap everything up in one chapter, but that's not the case because there's still more series to go. As far as I know, there's going to be at least 8 issues. Like, that's how far the solicitations so far go, but maybe there'll be more after. But for sure, there's 8 issues. So why the rush? Especially since I feel like we didn't really have much moments where Darkchild did anything terrible. Like, this entire run, Ilyana is constantly fearful of Darkchild being released and the evil things that Darkchild can do. But every time when we've seen Darkchild in this issue, in this series, Darkchild has not done anything evil. Darkchild has fought demons to protect Magik and her friends, and has basically just been like Magik, only stronger. So I would have liked it more if we had seen moments where Darkchild doesn't have to be evil, but maybe she does something that can be kind of construed as evil if you look at it in a biased way like Magik would. Or maybe like if we had this series go through Magik's point of view, and we basically have her as an unreliable narrator where we see things through how like her lenses, how she sees things. We could have had moments where she sees Darkchild's actions as being evil or being like a corrupted version of herself. Things that should be fearful, but we don't. We never see any of that. And yeah, maybe that happened in previous stuff with Magik, but I haven't read those. And maybe other people who are reading this run haven't read those, because this is supposed to be Magik's first solo series. At least that's the way that they market this series as. So maybe this is like your first run with Magik, and you just know very little information about her. Not once do I ever get the thought that Darkchild is actually an evil version of her. I think this moment would have been a lot better if we actually saw Darkchild as an evil, corrupted version of Magik. Or at least that's the way Magik sees it. Like, again, we use Magik's point of view. We see things through her lens. We see things through how she interprets it. And she interprets them as being very evil and stuff. And then when this moment happens, we can have Magik trying to fight her while Darkchild is trying to talk to her and get through to her. And then when she drops the line about how, like, I'm you and you're me, and I'm here to help shoulder your burdens. I'm here to protect you. I'm not here to cause you trouble. Then we could have had like flashes where we see what actually happened, where instead of Darkchild actually doing corruptible evil things, we see them as how they actually were, and they weren't evil or corrupted. It was just Magik's bias was making us think that. And now that Magik realizes that she has been taking out all her anger and fear and stuff on Darkchild who didn't deserve it, that's when she realizes to accept Darkchild. Like something like that would, to me, have been a lot better. I feel like this is just way too fast and doesn't work for the reasons I've given, where like we don't see Darkchild doing anything evil this entire time. That's been a big problem with me, where the entire series is basically about Magik being fearful of Darkchild and losing control to it, and you know, the whole being imprisoned on Limbo, and even Dani kind of backstabbing her best friend by telling Cal to spy on her in case Darkchild gets released. Stuff like that would have made way more sense if we actually saw the evil things that Darkchild was doing, but we didn't. So it feels like it's trying to get this moment that it hasn't earned. Maybe you think differently. Please let me know if you do. This is just how I feel reading this issue. As someone who has very, very little knowledge of Magik. Again, mostly I've seen like 1 or 2 or maybe 3 issues of her and other stuff. Like I think maybe like an issue of New Moon or something. I never really read New Moon, so I've just seen her like very, very, very briefly in some other stuff. I don't even know if those other stuff were 616 or non-canon, so I wouldn't know. And outside of that, I just know her from the Midnight Suns video game and Marvel Rivals. So Marvel Rivals, obviously, you just kind of see her powers. There's no real story to that. But Midnight Suns has a story, and whether Magik is actually like that in the comics or not, I don't know. But like, I like the Magik in that game, so I was like, okay, I want to see more about her. Plus, I always love like occult characters with demons, or you know, that fight demons are always up my alley. So yeah, I decided to read this run because I want to know more about her. And I feel like, I don't know, I feel like the writer is maybe assuming people reading this already know so much about her, which it's fine if you do that for readers who have already read stuff with her, but you should also make sure that whatever story you're telling could be for someone who's just picking up the issue for the first time. Moon Knight is a very good example of this. Moon Knight Fist of Khonshu. As someone who knows very, very little about Moon Knight, I can pick up that series, and even though there are things that it talks about and things that it explores that has happened in Moon Knight in previous runs, it still does a good job of like holding your hand for newbies and telling you like, here's the stuff that you need to know about that's not shown in this issue, but we'll discuss it here so that you're all caught up. This series doesn't really do that. Like, I know Magik has problems. She's fearful. She doesn't want to go back in Limbo. She was apparently trapped there before, probably grew up there. She has some kind of demon in her, Darkchild, that has done evil things, maybe, or at least she assumes that they've done evil things. She doesn't want Darkchild to be loose. But not once in this entire run have we ever seen Darkchild do anything evil. So Magik forgiving her and Magik accepting her doesn't feel like a big moment, because it's just like, why are you being mean to this character that has never done anything evil to you, and you're finally accepting it? Okay, like, why didn't you accept it before? It hasn't done anything to you. And again, maybe it's done things in previous runs, but it hasn't done anything evil in this entire run so far. It feels like it's trying to get this moment that it doesn't deserve. We just have Liminal is free and Magik decides to fight it, and I'm not going to spoil the rest. I feel like I've kind of rambled on this issue enough. I think this issue was kind of lackluster. It wasn't terrible, but I didn't care for it too much. I feel like it's very, very rushed. Nothing is really earned. Even the fight with Liminal, like, you were building Liminal up to be this big, strong baddie, like this dude who can become like a god and take over the world. A guy who, like, we have to team up and stop these seals from breaking, otherwise, you know, the earth can go to hell. And then the fight scene just completely doesn't live up to that expectation that I have. It's set in my head. Like I was expecting this big baddie and this big fight, and then nothing like that even really happens. So it feels like there's a lot of interesting ideas and a lot of cool premises, which I guess fall into the interesting ideas, but the execution was very, very poor. That's the best way I can explain this issue. Cool ideas, poorly executed, and so in the end, it was kind of a very lackluster issue. Yeah, I'm interested to see where they're going to go with the story from here, but yeah, I was kind of disappointed in this. Hopefully the next issue will be a lot better, because even though I've had my faults with this run, it's been okay so far. Like, it's not the best thing coming out of Marvel, not even close, but it's not terrible. I mean, I'm still reading it. I haven't given up on it, but this issue was not all that great. Hopefully the next one will be better. But there you go. There's Magik issue number 5 from Marvel. Hope you enjoyed. Hope to see you next time. Take care. Later. Thank you for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you didn't, I still want to thank you for watching it this far, and I hope the next one is more to your liking. With that said, thank you once again, and I hope you guys and gals have a good one. Later.